Yo, I don't know what the heck just happened there. Welcome. How you guys doing, man? It's been a while. Come say what's up. Don't know what just happened there with my cam. But, it's been a crazy week. It's been a crazy weekend. And I figured, you know what? Now's the time. Now is the time. It's late. You guys like these rad up all nights. This was my plan for last night, but then when I realized how many people were streaming live talking about what everybody's been talking about this weekend, and that's Halloween. Halloween ends. I said, you know what? I'll see what's going on tomorrow night, and maybe I'll just do it then. So, yeah, this was for last night, but we're doing it tonight, gang. And let me know who is in the house. I know there were some people streaming earlier. I don't know if there's anybody streaming now, but yeah, let me know who's in the house. I'll say what's up, and then we'll kind of dive in a little bit and talk a little spoilers, a little theories, a little thoughts, and kind of just put all this Halloween end stuff to rest because, man, I'm telling you, I don't know if I've ever, I don't remember how it was for kills, but man, like this is the talk of the town right now, and it's pretty wild. It's like everywhere, which is a good thing for horror, I think. So I'm gonna run through really quick who's in the house. We got Anthony. What's up, man? Hey, brother, you going to Chiller? Because I'll be there. Jim Powers, what's going on, man? And welcome. Hall and Oates, what's going on? Holly Go Frightly, what's up, kid? Guys, if you don't know Holly Go Frightly, go find her on Instagram. She's doing Face of Horror. I don't know if that thing's over yet, but go throw her a vote, okay? Crash, what's up, man? Glad I watched the Corey Cunningham movie on Peacock. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about that. Definitely. Movie Junkie John. Halloween Ends wasn't that bad. I dug it. All right, so if you saw my spoiler-free review, you're gonna have an idea of what I was feeling when I got out of the movie theater, because I did see it in theaters on opening night, Thursday night. And if you hadn't seen my spoiler-free review, then you can kind of check out my thoughts here tonight. What's her name? Corey Cunningham is going to have a long list of Halloween stuff signed at cons. Oh, well, man, no doubt. I think you're exactly right. You're probably right, actually. It's interesting. So, as people start coming in, again, hopefully people chime in, and we'll talk. I'll kind of go on how I'm feeling with a little bit of the spoilers, what's going on with my opinion, and then I hope to have you guys chime in as well so we can kind of chit-chat about it together. So, when I got out of the theater, I was pretty I wasn't sure what I just watched. My head was kind of going in 100 different directions. I will tell you this. It's probably the first time I've ever seen a Halloween movie in the theaters no, I lied. That's not the first time. I'm going to say Rob Zombie H2. I left the theaters kind of mind-boggled. But with the Rob Zombie H2, I left the theater mind-boggled in a very bad way. I was very disappointed. I was mad, confused. This one, I was confused but intrigued. And to be quite honest, I had a fun time with it in the theater. And coming from me, who honestly, I feel like I don't like most things. People can come off on me and usually say, oh, you don't like a lot. You don't like a lot of current stuff. Yeah, I don't, actually. So when I see something that kind of makes me think, or if I see something that gets me curious, or I think the biggest thing is keeps me thinking after I've seen it. And this was one. So I've seen the debates back and forth online with hates and loves, but I've tried my best to stay away from a lot of that. I've tried my best to stay away from a lot of reviews because I wanted to kind of use this show to kind of talk about things without getting persuaded or without, thinking twice about my opinions and thoughts. And some things I might say here tonight, you guys might agree with, might disagree with. Some of my theories, maybe you're going to be like, you're an idiot. I don't know if anybody's talked about any of this kind of stuff before. The only people I've really talked about this movie with is close friends. And then my spoiler-free review, really. But, I think it's a cool movie. I watched it twice. I actually watched it yesterday at home on Peacock, and I liked it a lot. I don't know what to say. It's different, of course. It's got its problems. I'll give it that. It doesn't feel like a Halloween movie, but there's a lot of things I respect about the boldness of this, and I think we all kind of had an idea of what we were getting into, and they knew what they were getting into. Why they chose certain directions, knowing that it was going to flip everybody out, I don't know those answers, and there's a lot of unanswered questions, even with choices they made in the movie. But when it comes to the movie itself, I thought it was cool. To be honest, I think it was my favorite of the three new ones. I really do. I know that's not going to be the popular answer. Do I think it was a good ending to this trilogy? That's debatable. I don't. I think this could have been a better middle, and then we could have played off of it maybe for the last one. Because when you think about it, to me, Kills was fun. I know that had a lot of hate as well, but it was middle of the road. It didn't really take the story anywhere. It kind of was just like a bloodbath. It was kind of like, hey, we're gonna have fun with it. Let's make it kind of rock and roll. Let's make Myers a badass, right? It was a fun movie, but it didn't really do much for the story. This, I feel had some story, and it was different. And I wish that this would have been put in the second tier ahead of Kills, because I think this could have led to something bigger. And I think there was a lot of changes that were made prior to putting this movie out. When they announced Halloween 2018, Halloween Kills, Halloween Ends, they pretty much announced all this as a whole. Hey, we've got 3 movies coming. We've got a trilogy. Be ready. And it's exciting, but it makes me think that there was no game plan. You figure if you're going to announce a trilogy, you would have had some kind of huge story written. Hey, here's where we're going to start. Here's where we're going to end. And when I saw Kills, I felt like they were just filling in a gap from where they wanted to start and where they wanted to end this saga. And to me now, I feel like something was either completely changed altogether, or they just made shit up as they went. And if that's the case, it's kind of disappointing, because again, it's I say this even with wrestling and stuff, right? When you create storylines and there's really no end game or game plan, and it's just let's just throw stuff at a wall and hope something sticks, that sucks. And I feel that's kind of what they did here, unless things were really, really changed, which I think they were. Because a lot of things that were said when this movie first came out have been kind of nixed now. Michael was going to be more of a man. They mentioned this radio tower was going to be a big deal. Keep your eye on that. There was little things there that didn't really come to tuition. And they changed their mind on some things. But here's the thing. I don't know if anybody, again, it's spoilers today, so I'm going to talk about things. If you haven't seen it, please come back and check it out. If you don't care, hang in here. I'm going to try to get back to the chat as well. And again, I'm planning on getting people that are going to disagree with me. Hopefully they respectfully disagree with me, because again, I do not care what anybody's opinion is about this movie. It does not affect me. If people hate it, cool, hate it. There's plenty of shit that I hate that other people love, and I'm cool with it, and whatever. I'm not going to try to change anybody's mind. But at the same time, it's also cool to hear other people's opinions, because maybe they see something you don't, right? So again, this movie kind of starts out 4 years after Kills. Now, I think personally that was kind of a mistake, because Kills ends kind of weird. Michael's staring outside his house. Laurie's daughter was just killed. We weren't sure if she was dead. That's how Kills end. That was the cliffhanger. Is she dead? And this movie starts out 4 years later. Myers' house has been demolished. Laurie's daughter is dead. The town is trying to get back to normal, but there is this evil that kind of lurks the town ever since that night. And people are killing themselves. People are getting mad at each other. People are committing murders. There's just a weird aura in the town. So, which is also weird too, because Laurie has kind of, changed her ways. She went from being, a survivalist to like a survivor. She's happy now. She's living in Haddonfield. She bought a house. She wants to be the guardian for Allison now that her mom's gone. She's trying to domesticate herself again. She wants to forget about Michael Myers. Now she's moving back to Haddonfield when it's at a worse place than it was when she was out in the woods for 40 years. Right? So that's what's interesting. Like, why come back now? And Michael's not in prison. He's missing. Nobody knows where he went after that house was demolished. Where he went, nobody knows. So she's coming back to town now, which to me seems a little bit odd. But it is what it is. Again, we can nitpick any single movie and we can find holes and screw ups and things don't make sense. Cool. Like, some things are going to fly, some things are going to not. I don't know. But anyway, she's back home. Now, we get introduced to a new character, Corey, right off the bat. I knew this character was going to be involved somehow. That's the one thing I heard about this is like, hey, there's going to be a big character named Corey that's going to come in here. And he's going to have a big part in this new movie. Why? I have no idea. I stayed away from every trailer except the initial one. Okay, so I didn't know a lot more about what was going on except for that initial kind of like teaser trailer that I did like a review for. So I stayed away from everything. People were posting spoilers. Hey, there was screeners. I didn't read anything. I didn't watch anything. All I knew was there was a new character that was going to be introduced. So we were introduced to him right away. And I'm going to tell you right now, that opening scene was awesome. One of the best opening scenes, I think, in any Halloween movie. Really, really good. Before you get to the credits, kind of like Laurie was in the original. So he was the babysitter for a little boy, and some stuff happens. Again, I can spoil it or not. I apologize again. The boy ends up getting killed. Corey looks like he was the one who did it. It was a real cool scene, really effective. Everything in that scene was good. It was tense. And then they roll right into the opening credits. And man, the opening credit scene is awesome. I knew right away something was up. The font was blue. It looked like Halloween 3 Season of the Witch fonts. This is Halloween 3. And then I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay. So we've got Halloween 3 Season of the Witch fonts. Very different than what we normally see from the other Halloween movies. Halloween 3 was something very, very different than we got from the first two Halloweens because that was how it was intended back in the day. So I'm like, okay, they know what they're doing here. They already said that this was going to be different. They already said people are going to be mad. Let's see what they do here. And what's funny too, going back to exactly how this movie opens, I wasn't even sure this was the movie as like the logo is going around. You start hearing like radio station and all this like happy music and stuff. And it fades into the movie and you're like, wow, this doesn't even start like a Halloween movie. There was no Halloween type music rolling into this thing. It wasn't dark. It wasn't eerie. It was like happy-go-lucky music. And it's just right off the bat, you feel like this is something very different. Very different. So anyway, the scenes roll in. You get the Halloween 3 font and stuff. I knew something was going to be up here. And then come to find out, it's 4 years later and Corey was in prison and he's out now for what he did. But now he's looked at as in the town as like public enemy number one, right? There's no Myers. Nobody knows where he is, but this kid now is looked at as like public enemy number one. Hey, he's the child killer. This kid killed a kid. He's out, right? So now he's kind of getting bullied around. He's kind of getting looked at by everybody. And that's kind of where the story goes. And they spend a lot of time with this Corey character. And it really doesn't feel like a Halloween movie. It really doesn't. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing because again, I'm not the biggest Halloween fan. Right now, I'm rewatching all the Halloweens to do a ranking on Halloween this year. I have not ranked these movies ever publicly. I honestly haven't watched half of these movies in probably about 10 years. Big fan of Halloween the original, huge fan of Halloween the original, big fan of Halloween 2, big fan of Halloween 3. And then after that, I'm not much of a fan of any of the other ones, really. Call me crazy. I just never was. And going back and rewatching these now because I have the 4Ks and I'm like, all right, now's the time. Now I'm going to tell you, they're not that good still. The aesthetics of some are good. I'm not finished them all yet, but I'm very surprised on how much I feel like this series needed a change. So I was fine with the change. I just wish it would have came at a different time. I wish we still had more story to tell. So I was fine with it. But I don't know how you guys feel about that. If you're, diehard Halloween fans, huge Michael Myers. Yeah, Michael Myers is cool. Don't get me wrong. But I was fine with the choices they made here. And I'll talk more about each movie when I do my rankings. I see somebody asked if he did go to prison. I mean, I assume I thought maybe he did. Maybe he didn't. And that's why, people are even more mad. But it goes, I don't know. I'm trying to think now. Did the 4 years? Yeah, I think the 4 years started after his murder. So where he was for 4 years, I don't know. Or no, maybe it was 4 years then that happened. I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe he didn't go to jail for it. You could be right. I forget. But, in the long and short, what's going on here is kind of like the overlooking backstory is that Lori is now writing a book, her memoirs, talking about Michael Myers, talking about what's been going on since 78, talking about the things that are going on in Haddonfield now. So she's writing a big book, and that's kind of like a story that's being told throughout this. You kind of get dabbles in that here and there. And what's interesting to me is that Lori seems to always be showing up during important scenes. She's driving by when Corey was arrested. She sees him, walking down the street. She sees him at the gas station getting bullied by these kids. She's always there for whatever reason. And so anyway, Corey ends up meeting the granddaughter, Allison, and they end up really digging each other. Now, what I found about this movie is that the pacing was weird on this. The story was being told, but the pacing was odd. For instance, Allison and Corey met, and it felt like they were together for years within the first 2 days that they were together. And it was kind of odd. It was very rushed. There wasn't a lot of story being told there. It was basically like they met each other, and the next day he's like a shy kid, but then the next day she's sitting on his motorcycle and he's on the back, almost kind of like a sexual way, right? So it's a very weird dynamic that they're just throwing in there. It just didn't seem right. The dialogue is a little bit weird too, in my opinion. It's very choppy. I feel like they're just trying to give you main pieces of the puzzle, right? They're just trying to move the story along without getting too deep, without getting too emotional. It's like, hey, we're gonna say this just to kind of let you know what's going on. Boom, we're gonna move to the next thing. And to me, it was a little bit weird. I didn't feel like I was watching a movie at some points. I don't know if you guys felt that way at all watching this, that it just had a weird pacing. The dialogue was a little bit weird. I will say this, though. There was none of the junk that we got in the other two movies with some of the cringy jokes. They didn't have any of that here. It was like, let's get this story told and let's keep moving, because there was a lot to tell here. And I'll say, and I'm sure, I don't know if anybody's going to agree with me, but man, I almost felt like this movie needed to be longer than it was, because I feel like there was so much more to tell, so much we didn't see, so much we didn't get. There has to be a ton of footage on that cutting room floor, because this thing did just seem very rushed at certain points. And I'm going to jump back in the chat really quick. I'm not going to hit everybody up. If anybody super chats, I'll jump on that one quick. But I want to talk more about this because I have some theories here. But I want to just kind of scroll through and pick some ones that people are jumping on. Let me see. Brian Trash, what's up, man? I see you in here. Let me see what Anthony says about this. I went in blind seeing any trailers or reading spoilers, just didn't hit with me. I wish the trilogy was the same night and wrapped it up. I mean, again, I'm not saying you're wrong. I think that for some reason that seemed like the intention. I don't know what happened. I don't know where it skewed. So I get it. I mean, again, do I think this is a great Halloween end? Nah, maybe not. Do I think this is a good movie? I do. If people want to say it's not a Halloween movie, okay. You got more Myers in this than you did in Halloween Season of the Witch. And that's like beloved now. So I really do think this is going to be something that with time is going to have a big cult following. Ollie Hammond, what's up? Exactly. It does not make much sense, to be honest, at all. Mama Blu-ray, same kind of thing. He's pretty much saying the same thing. Exactly. It was a very odd way that she was handled there. Magic Hands, not a fan of Halloween Ends. Let's see. Zombie Family. Yeah, I kind of agree with you, actually. I kind of agree. It was a weird ending. Could they have done it right? I think so, and we'll talk about that. All right, Anthony, I'm glad you noticed this. Okay, the pacing. It was weird. I know a lot of people were very happy with the pacing. I know a lot of people were very happy with the dialogue. They were like, oh, it was so good because we didn't get a lot of the cringe that we got in the other movies. They're right. But there was a lot of story to tell here that they really just kind of tried to rush through, in my opinion. Now, I'm going to give you a theory of mine for anybody who's seen this. And I have not heard anybody say this, and I could be just looking at it very deep. I don't know if they've come out and said anything about this, like as far as the director or anything like that. But now hear me out on this. And I said this in the theater, my buddy that I was with. I said, this is what it feels like to me. Now, I'm not currently like a big reader, right? Like I'm not a big book guy, but as a kid I was. And I used to read R.L. Stine books all the time. Not Goosebumps. Goosebumps came out like I was a little bit older. I was reading like the Hit and Run and all those ones. I love those things. Christopher Pike stuff. And to me, as I'm watching this movie, I'm feeling like I'm reading a book. Like I feel like I'm reading one of those R.L. Stine books. Like kid gets in trouble. Grandma introduces him to daughter who's got some issues. They fall in love. Boy starts doing bad things. Girl, it's the way it was paced to me felt like I was reading a book, and like the images of this movie is like what they're telling me and what is coming up in my brain, like what I'm picturing as I'm reading this story. Now, because again, there was not a lot of filler. It was just like boom, 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 like scene to scene to scene. And I'm thinking, do you think that like this is some kind of like the way it was done? Like when Laurie's talking to the dude in the old cop guy in the supermarket, it's weird. It's a weird conversation. It's like they're just throwing out one-liners. And it's almost like they're just trying to get you to understand what's going on. She's like, My granddaughter is dating Corey Cunningham. And he's like, oh, Corey Cunningham. Oh, good kid, but bad reputation, right? Like nobody talks that way, right? So to me, it's like they're just trying to give you information. Like if I was reading a book and it's like, grandma talks to policeman says this about Corey. It's feeding you information so you can kind of move on with the story. That's how I felt. Same thing when Laurie was talking to Corey's mother. It was a very odd conversation between the two. It didn't feel like a real conversation. It felt like I was watching like a play or something, or like they were just reading off cue cards. Like it was very odd. And Jamie Lee Curtis is a great actress, and I just feel like it was odd conversations. Now, do you think? And the reason Laurie's always there, right? They're kissing outside in the motorcycle. She's in the window. They're in the house doing something. She pulls up. She's in the window. Is it like, is this her story that she's telling on what's going on in town? And you're basically like watching her as she's writing? I don't know if that's the case, because at the end of the movie, she kind of stopped, like her book ends. She ends the book. Now, again, is that me looking way into this thing? Maybe. But it just seemed very purposefully bad, like purposefully sloppy, purposefully messy. But I was entertained by it. I was really caught up in this Corey Cunningham story. I thought, to be honest, as much as I'm thinking they're flying through these stories, they made Corey Cunningham seem pretty important, and I was invested in him in what, the last movie of a franchise. I mean, you got to give them some kind of credit on that. Who can make that work that fast? Like, I was invested with him through the whole story, and I felt like everything he was doing, I was happy with. I felt like they did such a great job with him, and he was the best part of this movie, I think. And I'm taking a Halloween movie, like this kind of had like a True Romance vibe to it. Natural Born Killers vibe. You got a little bit of Drive. Man, anything that you take a horror movie and throw a kid on a dirt bike, I'm down. Lost Boys, Phantasm. Like, I was into this character. I was into this story with him and Allison. I just felt like it was a very short story with no real outcome to it. And I'm going to skip over quite a bit of stuff here, but basically, he finds Michael Myers. Michael Myers is buried. He's hiding out in a sewer for 4 years. Now, when he finds Michael's very weak. He's beat up, sickly almost. And Michael had the opportunity to kill Corey, and he doesn't. He sees something in Corey. Now, here's another one where I don't have a lot of answers to this question. What happened here? Did he transfer evil to Corey? Did he see evil in Corey? Did Corey just finally get fed up with the how people were treating him and he snapped? They talked about, I think David Gordon Green said this will have some Christine vibes to it. Now, is it just transferring? Is it him sick and tired of this and turning evil, or is there an evil force that's being passed here? I don't know the answer to that. I don't know why this happened. I mean, I'm fine with it. Now, I know people had a big problem with Michael Myers being weak. But again, I'm looking at it as he hasn't killed in 4 years. I know Laurie had said in kills, like he gets stronger with killing. So he was whipping everybody in Haddonfield at the end of Kills because he's been killing that whole movie. So if that was the case that the story they were telling, he was powerful. He was like the Terminator. And then him being buried out in that sewer for 4 years, not killing anybody, maybe it weakened him. But my buddy made a good point. Why didn't he kill for 4 years? If that was making him weak, then why didn't he kill? And I know the homeless guy in the movie mentioned, like, oh, he drags people in that sewer. Then why is he so weak, I guess? So again, there's some unanswered questions here with that. I feel like there's more of a movie here that got cut up. And they did a lot of reshoots, and I'm going to tell you about a couple soon. But I'm going to go back to the chat really quick and see if anybody has any opinion on what I said about, like, is this all Laurie's book and we're just getting it on film? Because if that's the case and they come out and say that, they kind of did a poor job explaining it at the end to make everybody understand that. But to me, it just seemed like that. Like, if you watch it again, like, picture yourself reading a book and they're just giving you the vital information, and that's about it. That's all you're getting. And then we move on to the next thing. But I'll jump back in the chat really quick and just kind of see what anybody else is chiming in. Sorry, again, I'm way behind. I do, but I'll talk more about that later. Now they say, yeah, this could almost been one of, kind of, yeah, like that. I've never read any of the Halloween comics, but again, I just had a feel of the way this was paced and the dialogue, that it was just an odd, it was almost like it was like not a parody of itself, but it almost like it knew what it was doing. Yeah, I agree. Nobody's really that I've seen. Again, I haven't really seen a lot of reviews, but a couple I watched to some of my friends, they didn't. Nobody's mentioned any of this yet. Oh, I told them maybe that was a wild idea. Yeah. Now, I don't know if anybody else has mentioned this. I don't know if I know they haven't come out and said anything about it. Maybe it's me just being wild with my idea, but honestly, like that's what I felt like the during the theater when I was watching it. I was like, does this feel doesn't feel right? And then as she's doing the novel and the book and stuff, I'm like, maybe this is like her book being told on film. Christine drives her strong. Christine. Yeah, like it really, a part of me almost feels like, did they make a movie? Like, to be honest, and I know this would have pissed off more people, but like, what if this movie was Corey went into the sewer and found Michael Myers' body dead there? He took the gear and he started killing. And when he put the mask on, the evil went to him. And catch 20, like, I mean, and then you get twofold, like, he can start killing, it's a copycat kill. If people think Michael Myers is back, the whole town is frantic. And then you can move on with this story. Sure, maybe he'll die at the end with Laurie, maybe with Allison. But that's another thing I'm going to get into. But I think, this could have been, you didn't even need Myers in this adaptation, in my opinion. Let me see. It does, and that's let's talk about that then. But yeah, like again, I'm curious to see if anybody else has brought up the theory of like maybe this is all kind of part of Laurie's book, and she's kind of filling in some gaps of things that maybe she doesn't know about. Even when him and her granddaughter were at the radio station up on the tower, and then they got in the big argument with the DJ. She was like in the car or whatever, like watching them. Because remember, he looked over the shoulder and kind of like smirked at her. Like, why is she always visible in different areas where it's just interesting to me. But yeah, so he finds Michael, he gets the power, and then he becomes evil, and he becomes more kind of like a badass, and he's got the bike, and Allison's on the back of the bike, and they're driving around town. And again, the music in this is very not Halloween. You've got like a lot of synth, like synth music you'd hear in Drive, like synth wave, like not the Carpenter stuff, but like stuff you'd hear in like Drive as they're going down the down the street on the motorbike. There's neon lights everywhere. It just doesn't feel like a Halloween movie at all. And I loved it. I love that because I'm into movies like that. And if you kind of give me that and it's got a little bit of a Halloween undertone, like this worked for me. I was invested in this story. Michael Myers to me was just kind of secondary to see what the heck was going to happen. He was really unnecessary to this story. Now, then he becomes a badass and he's like picking fights, and he lured his current girlfriend, Allison's ex-boyfriend, to the sewer, and this is where you see Michael for the first time start to get some action. So basically him and Corey like team up and kill this guy. And every time Michael stabs him, he gets stronger, a little more powerful. And then a couple scenes go by and they go and they tag team somebody else. They work as a team together. Now it's to help get Michael stronger. They're working together. Corey's starting to feel what it feels like to kill. And then what ends up happening is he ends up taking the mask from Michael in a little bit of a scuffle. Now, here's what I understand is that Michael now has already killed twice. So he should have been pretty stronger. He should have been stronger at this point. And Corey was able to kind of fight him off and take that mask and kind of make Michael look terrible. Now, I don't know the answer on why that happened. I would say, he was weak, but he had just killed two people. You figure he would have been a little bit stronger here and not just get manhandled by Corey. Weird scene. I think there could have been a better way to do it. But anyway, Corey does get the mask and goes on a little bit of a killing spree. Not as long of a spree as I would like. I would have hoped he would have done a little bit more. So you do have a little bit of that copycat killer action, but they don't really go far with it. I like the concept, but I just don't think that they gave us enough execution. I would have liked him to go even more wild. But again, I'm still enjoying it at this point. I'm still enjoying it. I'm still intrigued. I'm still trying to figure things out. So Corey's telling Allison that, your grandmother's trying to split us up. She wants to kill me, blah, blah, blah. Because now Lori sees the evil in Corey. She looks at him and she's like, he's kind of got Michael's eyes. This is the evil I see in Michael's eyes. So did the evil get transferred? That I don't know. That's the assumption at this point. So again, I know I'm kind of talking about a lot of problems when it comes to the movie, but again, like I said, this was enjoyable to me. It really was. I enjoyed it. It was a fun ride for me. There's just a lot of questions still. So long story short, Lori and her daughter get in a big argument over Corey, her granddaughter. Her granddaughter says, "I love him. We're running away. You can't do anything, blah, blah." And Corey's plan is he's going to go around and kill everybody as Michael, and Lori being one because he doesn't want her to take Allison from him. So he wants to kill her pretending he's Michael Myers. So it looks like Michael Myers is killing people. Then he wants to bounce and they want to leave town. Well, by the time he gets to Lori, she's ready for a fight. Now, this is where I start getting a little bit pissed. I'm not mad about lack of Michael Myers. I'm not mad about Corey Cunningham character. I'm not mad about different music. I'm not mad about this doesn't feel like a Halloween movie. What I'm mad about is that you build this Corey character up to feel important just to kill him off by Lori. Now, that just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It doesn't do anything for Laurie Strode to kill him off. It doesn't. It ruins the storyline with Allison. This is what really ticked me off about this. And yeah, you can say, okay, he wasn't really dead because Michael Myers ends up following him there and killing him, taking his mask back and breaking his neck. So technically, Michael killed Corey, but he was pretty much a goner at that point. Laurie had shot him a bunch of times. He fell off a balcony. He was pretty much a goner. So now Corey's dead. Allison's waiting for Corey to leave town. So now you get that big showdown with Michael and Laurie. Now, guys, tell me this. When the trailer dropped, and this is the trailer that I saw, this was the original trailer. They show the fight scene, okay? And all everybody kept saying was, oh, copycat killer. That's not Michael Myers. And they were given reasons. They maybe said he had all his fingers or something. That's not Michael, blah, blah, blah. So then the whole copycat killer thing started running rampant. Now, I haven't gone back and watched the original trailer again. But what did they see? Because that was Michael during that fight. So did they do reshoots? Was it not Michael at one point and they went back and changed it? Because it was Michael. So what were people seeing in the trailer that told them that wasn't Michael Myers? I don't remember. But that's why I was confused, because I'm like, no, that was Michael. So what was the trailer showing us? Can anybody help me on this? Because I haven't gone back and watched it. It just kind of came to me. So I'm not sure. I don't know. Hold on. I got Allie saying something here. Ollie, sorry. How about Allison noticing Corey was wearing the jumpsuit with the mask beside him when she walks through the door and is mad at Laurie? Well, the jumpsuit was his. He wore it a lot in the movie because of where he worked. He worked at the auto place. Now, I thought that was funny, too, because as soon as he had the jumpsuit on, I'm like, okay, here's where he's going to do the jumpsuit. As far as the mask beside him, yeah, I mean, I guess maybe she didn't put two and two together right away. I don't know. They didn't really explain that, like, he had done that or anything like that at that point. But, I'm jumping over some stuff. Corey does some cool killings and stuff when he was Michael. I just feel like there should have been more. Okay, let me just see what he says here. The copycat giveaway was just Corey opening the door. Okay. All right, so when he opened the door in the trailer, it was Corey when he opened. Okay, so that's where people were saying it. It wasn't necessarily the fight. Okay. I see. Okay. The scene with the doctor and nurse. So I know there was some reshoots. I've been doing some research before I came on here today. People were saying there was a whole alternate ending, which I was talking to my buddies about this and saying, "Hey, here's how I would have ended this." And it seems like that's kind of what they were originally going to do, and they changed it. Um, Now, anyway, the big fight with Michael and Lori. Lori kills Michael. That's the end of this. The end of the story. They throw him through a meat grinder. Hey, he's dead. Boom. It's over. Now she finishes her book. The end. The whole story's done. Now, here's my problem: is the series done? Franchise done? Sure. Is it really done? No, we know that. We know it's not done. The Laurie Strode story is done. She'll probably never be in it again. But we know we're going to get more Halloween movies in the future. Now, what do we do, though? We just keep rehashing the Laurie Michael saga? Like, we did that with Rob Zombie. Are we just going to keep doing that? Cast different people as Laurie Strode? Different Michael Myers? To me, this is old hat. Now, maybe some fans are like, "Oh, it has to be Michael and Laurie. That's what Halloween is." Well, Halloween was never intended to even be Michael and Laurie. It was a story of a vision that Carpenter had. And his vision was every Halloween, we're going to come up with a new Halloween story related that takes place in Halloween. And we're going to run with it. And to be honest, I wish it would have went that route, more or less. Because I told you, I'm watching a lot of the sequels now, and they're not that great. So why not take this franchise somewhere different for the future? Now, if it was me, I probably would have kept Corey alive. I probably would have let him escape in some aspect. I said that I would have had him take off, and then we could have started this thing over in a year or so, a few years, and it'd be Corey, Allison, the house that he killed the little boy in, he was staying at. And that was kind of like, you could say that's the new Myers house, right? But now we've got new characters. And Corey is now the Shape. If he wears the mask or whatever, I don't know. But he's considered the Shape. He's the new evil. And you can have a new generation and a new story to tell. Similar concept, but a new story to tell for the new generation of kids. And, younger adults and adults now. But again, some people might say that's stupid. I don't want that. That's fine. But I'm going to tell you how the original ending was supposed to go according to what I was reading. Now, the radio station was actually supposed to come into play, and that's kind of how Michael was supposed to get killed. Something about him getting impaled through the radio tower was going to be how he died. But I think it also said that Laurie was going to die as well during that fight. They were going to die together. Now, then Allison was going to see that Corey was evil, and she was going to shoot him and kill him. And then as the movie ended, she's upset about Laurie being killed. Michael's dead. And then as the movie wraps up, they go to take Corey's body, and it's gone. Very similar to 78 with Michael. Now, I would have preferred that big time, because it leaves it open to something. Because I think Corey Cunningham was a great character for someone who was shoehorned into the last movie of a franchise. It was done well. I was invested in him. I thought he was cool. And I would have enjoyed to see more stuff with him. I thought Allison did really good this time around. I felt like, it would have been nice to see a younger cast kind of take this franchise, forward. Because we know it's not over. So again, that's just kind of me running through what the original ending was supposedly supposed to be, and they had changed it. And I actually think it was even filmed and showed at like an early test screening. And somebody, might have been Blumhouse, was like, "No, let's change it because we don't want Laurie to die. We want her to be the winner. We want her to be the strong, survivor or whatever. So they changed it up so Laurie could survive. But what's weird to me is to not even have Allison be the one to kill Corey. It doesn't make sense. Like for that storyline like went nowhere. Like shouldn't she have seen the evil in him? And he was so adamant about saying, if I can't have her, no one can. Like that's a story we're building there. That's motive going forward. So I don't know. Like that's like a couple of gripes I have. Like as a whole, I liked Halloween Ends a lot. Do I think they could have made it better? I do. I think they could have made it a way better ending to this franchise if they were just going to do it this way. And I think that they kind of missed at the very, very end. You can end the franchise and have somewhat of a cliffhanger, like as a what if. Kill Michael Myers off. That's fine. Have a what if. Like, hey, this could be returning, but it's not going to be Michael and Laurie. That's what I would have done because that Halloween's a moneymaker and that they're going to eventually do something else with it. And it would just been nice to see. Could Corey come back and be alive? Michael's done it 1,000 times. Maybe. They don't really explain where he goes. They just kind of stop talking about him. But as you see, there's a lot of stuff here that's I think is missing. Another thing is too, and I don't know if anybody's noticed, is they kept showing Corey's ring. They would show close-up shots of his hands with this ring. And I thought that ring was going to be significant because he was going to be Michael Myers quite a bit. And that was the only way you'd be able to tell them apart. But it didn't really amount to much either. So I thought that was kind of odd. But let me know down below, guys. Like, I'm going to go through the chat again. Let me know about that ending or that alternate ending or my theories or my thoughts on, driving this forward with a couple new people. Like, do you agree? Do you disagree? It's fine. Tell me either way. Maybe after hearing me, you want to go back and check it out again. But let me just see what you guys say in here. I know I'm way behind on the chat. It's true. And that's another thing we can kind of get into in a minute. I would love to see Danielle Harris back. Sure. I'm not the biggest 4 and 5 fan at all. Halloween 4 and 5. I'm not. To me, they felt, and I just rewatched them. I feel like I like them less now than I ever did. To me, they feel like I was actually sitting there. I'm like, wow, I'm surprised these were in theaters. They felt very made for TV. But I would love to see Danielle Harris back. I mean, it gives us a new story. Hey, man. I mean, Freddy's a tough one. I don't know if I want to see another Elm Street, to be honest. Freddy's going to be hard to redo. It really is. Like it's Michael and Jason, you can throw people under masks, it works. Freddy, if you're not good like Robert Englund was, it's going to be rough. I agree. It is. You know what? I will tell you right now, that's my biggest gripe with this trilogy. That they neglected Halloween 2. To me, it was unnecessary. It still doesn't make a lot of sense to me. If they were brother and sister, what difference would this have made, really? And all they really did was they had her say, hey, weren't they brother and sister? Oh, no, that was what people thought, but it's not true. Like, that's the only real thing they did to squash that whole movie. Like, they could have did so much with it. He could have went in the hospital, got burned, and then they thought he was dead, and the cops got him. Big deal. Like, it's fine. He got burned in kills anyways. Like, it's... If that was part of this story and it went 1, 2, 2018 kills ends, that's my trilogy. That's my franchise right there. That's my timeline. That would be the one I would go for all day. Because, again, like I said, I don't really care much about 4, 5, and 6. I don't care about H2O. I don't care about Resurrection. So, like, none of those timelines for me really work. But I have a hard time going from 1 to 2018 to kills to ends. Because to me, Halloween 2 is such a perfect sequel. And it was meant to be the sequel to that movie. And that was going to be the end of Michael Myers. So to just try to take that away, that's my biggest gripe with this whole franchise. Robert Long made a good point. Sorry, I didn't talk about this, but I this is something else I was thinking. Allison probably is pregnant by Corey. Very well. That's an easy way to continue this story somehow. Because there is a scene where she very well could be pregnant by Corey. Does she have the evil inside? I mean, who knows? But these are things on why I think that this Corey character should have stayed, and we could have built off of this. I mean, wouldn't you rather have a new cast of characters in this franchise? I would, because the franchise sells and makes money. I mean, think what you could do here. I mean, I know you're going to piss a lot of people off. Like, hey, there's no Michael, it's Corey now, and do you keep the mask? Do you change the outfit? I don't know, but I mean, there's merchandise there. I'm just tired of having to rely on the past on everything. Like, why have we not got any big time horror icons at all? You can say Pennywise, but Pennywise is just a rip off an old character. You can say Terrifier, sure. I was not a big fan of the first one. I'm going to give the second one a shot because I'm hearing it's really good. But, they've tried with Jeepers Creepers. He is not, I'm sorry. He's squashed that franchise, done. It's over. Stop. He's not an icon, not even close. But why are we going back to the well and saying, let's do more Michael and Freddy and Jason? Why can't we come up with new things? Why? New Pinhead? No, like, find something new. And maybe if they would have did this with Halloween going forward and just said, it is what it is. Like, if you don't like it, too bad. Like, it's a horror movie, blah, blah. But like, we need to continue with the name because it's a name value, but we're going to do new stuff. Man, I'm a big 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s horror guy. And for me to come out and be like, oh yeah, change it up. I mean, dude, that's saying something. I don't say that about a lot. Again, I'm going to put ends in, like, for horror movies that I've seen this year. It's definitely one of my favorites. I didn't care for Hellraiser. I didn't care for, trying to think what else I mean, Monsters doesn't really count. I didn't care for that, really. I loved X, loved Pearl. Black Phone was pretty good. I haven't seen Barbarian yet. I heard that was really good, though. I thought Nope was really good. I like that a lot. We've had a real good year in horror this year. And that's the one thing I can say about the genre. It's hot right now. And it's sad to see everybody fighting. I mean, it's ridiculous. I don't care what anybody's opinion is. I'm giving you mine. If you want to agree with it, cool. If not, then it's like, why argue? I don't get it. But anyhow, I'm going to go through again and just kind of see what everybody else is. But yeah, good call on that. Like, she could easily be pregnant by him. What happened here? I don't know. I mean, it's weird because, for someone who they said is not supposed to be supernatural, when he grabbed Corey and could see his soul, basically, and knew there was something going on there was some kind of connection. So it's going back to the element of, like, yeah, he is supernatural. Maybe he did see something. I don't know. But again, his body is almost like a host to the evil. And that's always kind of how it's been. So to have it transfer to someone younger, it's fine. Let me see. Yeah, I don't know if it's true, but I also read something about Laurie getting the evil and isolating herself in a cabin in the movie. Interesting. Do you see the trailer? Her say, maybe to kill him, I have to die too. I didn't notice. I'm going to go back and actually watch all the trailers because, like I said, I saw the first one and that's it. But I would love to go back now that I've seen this twice and see if I notice anything that I'm like, hey, that wasn't in the movie, because I did hear there was a ton of reshoots, even as recent as the first trailer had come out. I agree. It's played out for sure. And you're right. And that's the thing. I think that they can make money just by the name alone. I don't think it needs to be about Laurie and all that stuff. I don't think that's the case. I mean, to be honest, like, I saw something today where they're like, oh, it's not over yet. And they showed some Halloween 3 images or whatever that, like, kind of looked like these posters over here. And I would be so down for that, because those Halloween 3 masks are so over universally, like, in the horror community right now, that I think that to take Halloween 3 and running with it, not a remake, but use the similar idea and do something, maybe with those masks, create a new story. I mean, I'm down for a trilogy utilizing those masks and kind of come up with some new stories. Like, I really am. I think that Halloween 3 has become beloved by most. When they do Halloween 3 merch and figures and stuff, like that stuff sells. So why not go back to that well? It's a very untapped well, for a movie that was widely hated for so long. And that's what Ends reminds me of. And if you look at this trilogy, it's built, I got to give Gordon Green some credit. It was built very similar as the original. Part 1, it's about Michael and Laurie. 2018 is about Michael and Laurie. Part 2 is about mostly Michael. Laurie's like in it's Michael going through town trying to find Laurie. She's in the hospital, basically taken out of the whole movie. You look at Kills, same thing. So Halloween 2, Kills, very similar in how those two go as well. Very similar. Now you take it to Halloween 3 and it's a complete different thing, similar as Season of the Witch. So he knew what he was doing. He was clever in that aspect, is he basically just remade those 3 movies to an extent. But I think and you guys, I'm going to be doing a show at Dead Pit, the fall and rise of Halloween 3. So we're going to get into detail on all this, because I avoided Halloween 3 for a long time, because all everybody ever told me was that Michael's not in it. It's garbage. Don't watch it. And I didn't. And I listened for a long time. Finally, I think I saw it maybe on TV or something. And I was like, what's this? And then it was like Halloween 3. And I was like, what? I was like, this movie's awesome. And then I realized it was Halloween 3. So I bought the VHS tape, bought the DVD or whatever. And I absolutely love Halloween 3. But I think this is going to be one of those things too, where it's going to get a cult following in time. Probably not soon, but in time. I mean, guys, listen, like, I am still not a huge Rob Zombie 2 fan, but that has gotten a lot more love recently than it ever had. That was universally hated when that came out. And now it's getting way more love than it ever has. And I think if Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 can get that much love now, I think Halloween Ends is a shoo-in for a cult following. Yeah, I mean, I agree. And that's why they changed it, because Blumhouse wanted her to go down on top, which I don't think she needed to. She didn't need to. But hey. What's up, Gus? I agree. And I liked Ends a lot. I'm going to go out on the limb, guys. I liked, out of these 3, I liked Ends the best, now that I'm going back and rewatching everything again. I think 2018 is a better told story, but out of the 3, I enjoy that one the least now as far as rewatch value. I feel like every time I watch 2018, I like it less. Like, I'm a little bored with the beginning. Like, I don't like the whole beginning with the podcasters or whatever. Like, that whole stuff, like, yeah, it just doesn't do it for me. Let's see, we go. Corey making that hot tag in the sewers while holding dude down. Oh, hell yeah, dude. Did you see my Instagram post? I created an image today. Tag team specialists, Corey and Michael Myers. Go check it out. It's going to be a new shirt, too. That was a good scene. Yeah. They're like tag teaming. Who's this? Who we got here? Zombie Family. I agree. That would have been a better ending. Rob Zombie's Halloween. You know what? I liked Halloween. Rob Zombie's Halloween as well. I really liked that when it came out. And I know that's not the popular thing to say, but I really did. I was invested. I think Rob Zombie did a great job creating characters. I still look at Scout and think Laurie, Danielle Harris. Like, he did a good job, and he always does, creating good characters. Rob Zombie just doesn't know how to finish movies, and I feel like that's what happened with Halloween. Like, he got to a point where, I feel like it was cool to see like a backstory. I'm not a big fan of like the really, really rough, dialogue at the beginning nowadays that I did when I was like 20 something years old. when that came out. I don't find it as amusing anymore or funny or whatever. But I like the building of characters. I liked seeing young Michael. I thought Daig was a creepy kid. I liked all the characters in Rob's movie. My biggest problem with Rob's movie is towards the end, where he just kept chasing Laurie through the house and stuff. Like, it just dragged a little bit for me. I just feel like Rob always has a tough time ending movies, if you kind of go look at his track record. And that one's exactly the same. But I liked Halloween 1. I don't know, actually. I don't think they mentioned Loomis in this at all, which is odd. What's up, Cool Hand Luke? Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of the first one, but I'm going to check this one out because I keep hearing really good things about it. So I'll check it out. But hey, guys, if you haven't dropped a like in there, do it for me. I appreciate it. It's going to help support the channel. Again, my goal is to get to 2K by the end of the year. I hit 1K in April. So 2K by the end of the year would be awesome. So definitely share my videos, like them, comment on them. It helps kind of the algorithm there, because I'm probably at I think I've got probably 400, 375 more to get before the end of the year, I think. I don't know. But definitely appreciate it. Definitely share it around. Appreciate the support. I'm just trying to get through everybody's stuff here. Let me see. Anthony. Yeah, man, I agree. I watch them back to back as well. I actually have bought plenty of Blu-rays and DVD bootlegs of mashups where it's all just on one disc and it kind of fades into the other one. Yeah, the Unreal franchise in the series now is a good traction. Yeah, I can't wait for Maxine. What a great trilogy that's going to be. And the thing is, Ty West is showing you, you can do new things. Take chances, do some new stuff. And I will say, horror right now, they are coming out with some pretty new things, and I give them props for that. But I feel like maybe we should utilize Halloween now that it's over to be like, hey, you know what? Let's build off this franchise a little bit. Let's make it different. I mean, the franchise itself, the name value itself works. Let's continue with it. Have it fall on Halloween. Do a lot of Halloween vibes, right? And then just kind of take off from there. If you brought me, would you think of Michael of Backtrack Timeline? Yeah, I don't know. The problem is that you'd have to make a new timeline, right? Because Danielle Harris doesn't exist in this world. So I don't know what you do. Yeah, is that let me talk about that. I did like it. Yeah, you go join that. You go. Yeah, you know what though? I don't watch a lot of trailers either. I like to, if I hear good things, I'll go and be surprised. I like to go into things kind of blind. But I will say the trailers that were on the beginning of this movie, man, there's some cool shit coming out. That Megan, that looks pretty cool. That looks freaky. I'm excited for that. There's another one called Broken Bones or something. That looked awesome as well. And there was another one. I don't know if this is what Robert Long's talking about. Pray for the Devil. I don't know. It was an exorcism movie. And I thought it looked awesome. So I don't know. But there's some cool stuff coming out for sure. Sorry, I'm just scrolling through. See what Ashley says. How could you like Halloween Ends? It bleeds into the trilogy. I covered it in one. That's why. How could you like Halloween Ends? It bleeds into the trilogy of what covered it in one. That's why Halloween is 15 days. How could you like Halloween Ends? It bleeds into the trilogy. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, I don't know what you mean by that. I know Carpenter wanted to change it up. Um, yeah, I mean, I agree, David. Anyone says is in a Halloween movie. There are 12 of the movies you can watch minus the season of the witch. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, it is, and I said that in my spoiler-free reviews. If you go back and watch a lot of the Halloween movies, they're very like cut and dry. Like, there's not much to them. It's basically like a stalk and slash. Like, this one had story arcs. Yeah, it was messy. I will admit that, but it was fun to kind of be introduced to a new character that you cared about. Um, I agree. I think the biggest problem is that this is supposed to be the final, and I think that's where I would have the biggest problem with it. I've watched it twice. I'm going to watch this again because I'm trying to see if I find new things out. If I see something that I wasn't seeing before, my overlooking things, because I think there's more that means the eye to this story, and it's either they're not giving it to us yet, or it's there and we're not seeing it. Because it's just, I don't know. It was cool. It was just a fun, cool movie to me. Halloween movie or not. Well, again, him being a little weaker could have worked, but my biggest gripe with that is that it was like 2 scenes too far ahead because he had already killed 2 people at that point. But I know a lot of people are like, oh, you can't put the mask on someone else. Sartain did it. It's fine. Whatever. It's not a big deal. Yeah, I liked him a lot too. Look at this. Hey, man, I appreciate that a lot. You know, I work hard at it. You know, I try to be different. I try to be unique. I try to do fresh stuff. I definitely appreciate that. I think I was just probably 5 years too late. You know, but it's been great. I've met a lot of cool people, a lot of you guys who support me, even on like Instagram. Like you know, a lot of people will message me on there, and I do my best to try to get back to everybody and comment everybody. I have a very, very, very hectic and busy lifestyle. So like for me to try to fit this in, like it literally is in my calendar like a work day. And that's why I'm doing this so late now, because it's the only time I had accessible for me to do this with, you know, I'm doing some schooling now. It's like, there's just so much going on. So I definitely appreciate you guys because I am, you know, working hard to kind of try to make this unique and different. And of course, the other thing too is being able to collaborate with other creators, which has been huge. People I've been friends with for a while, new people that I had met just from being on here, like totally cool, fun as hell. Collabing with those people, sharing ideas, coming up with concepts, because I'm a huge wrestling fan. I was a wrestler for a couple of years. So my brain is always like thinking in that mode. So it's like, as much as we're talking about all this stuff that we like, I want to keep things unique. I want to keep them interesting for the people watching, because I think that's kind of what could be missing, I think, in the community, is just making it like, I don't know, just like must see, you know, must see. But thank you so much. I totally appreciate that. So guys, if you haven't subbed and you're seeing this, throw me that sub. Appreciated. Speaking of that, we'll start wrapping it up soon here, and I'll scroll through again. But those are mainly my thoughts in the movie. I had some theories. I talked about what I would have rather seen in an ending. As a whole, I enjoyed Halloween Ends. It is what it is, guys. I don't know what to tell you. I didn't think I would like it. I don't like a lot, especially of current stuff. I really don't. And the fact that I'm putting this above Prey and what else did I just watch? Monsters. I mean, whatever. Hellraiser. I'm putting this up there, guys. I mean, I'm going to tell you, I would rather watch this than 2018 now. So a couple of things I have coming up on the show is this is a busy week. So this week, Rad Pack member Justin, Movie Watch Daily, he's going to be a guest on Ken Mid-Level Media's channel for World's Biggest Collectors. I will be hanging out in the chat on that, supporting him. So guys, pop over there and check it out. That will be Tuesday night. if you follow me on Instagram or even on here, I'll post the link and stuff for it. So I'm definitely going to support him on that. Wednesday night is going to be the 101 Scariest Movie Moments Countdown with me and Uncle Bill from Dead Pit Radio. We are on I think we're at 25 right now. So we got about 2 more weeks left of this. It's really cool to kind of see what's coming on the list here. And that's on Wednesday. What do I got? Wednesday. I forgot. Tomorrow I will be on KB Loves Movies. If you're not following KB Loves Movies, go check him out. He's had me on for an interview, guys. So there'll be an interview with me on. I think he's dropping it. We already recorded it. It's being dropped tomorrow at 12, I think noontime. It's an interview if you want to know a little bit more about me, what got me involved in starting the channel, where I get some of my ideas from. And then we talk about some of our favorite, Halloween movies. So definitely check that out. KB Loves Movies is what I'm going to be on tomorrow. Follow me on Instagram. I'm going to have all the links for all those shows. So that's Monday. Tuesday, I'm going to be in the chat on Mid-Level with Justin. Wednesday is me and Uncle Bill. Saturday is a big Rad Pack show on this channel. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be the movies, spooky movies that made us. We're each going to talk about 9 movies that we grew up with, that we used to watch around the Halloween season. So it should be really fun. We're going to celebrate Halloween. And then I think a week from today, I think we're going to do the Fall and Rise of Halloween 3 simulcast with me and Dead Pit. So busy next couple weeks, guys. And then I'm going to be heading to Chiller the last weekend of the month. And then on Halloween, I'm going to drop my Halloween franchise rankings. So a lot going on there as far as the channel. So again, if you're not subscribed, please do. Please hit that thumbs up for this stream. Please throw some comments in the comment box. If you're watching this in the replay, let me know what you thought of Halloween Ends. Let me know if anything I said on this chat is going to make you rewatch it and think about it a second time. Maybe some of the ideas I had you thought were stupid. Maybe some of the ideas I had you thought were pretty cool. Let me know in the chat and in the comments. I'd love to chat about it with you. And let me just run through really quick. I'm going to try to skim through some of these before I head out. Eric Samuel Perry, what's up, buddy? You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to tell you right now that is probably what's going to happen on my ranking. I've never publicly ranked these movies, but I'm running through all of them again. 1, 2, and 3 are the ones I watch every year. Every year I watch 1, 2, and 3. I've always done that. The rest of them, it's been a long time. I probably haven't seen Halloween 6, H2O, and Resurrection in probably 15 years. So I'm rewatching all those now, and I'm going to do my official ranking. What's up, Holly? They do. I mean, it should have been a big. You're right. It should have been more of a copycat film. I think it should have been. Now, can they move forward with that? Like, can they say Corey's not dead? Can he be Michael Myers and start killing again? Looking for Allison. The town thinks Michael's not dead. I mean, can they go that route, or is it too late? I think it might be too late. I think that there's probably more to this story. Maybe there's a lot more Corey running around killing people thinking it's Michael Myers. Like, they didn't even get to that route where people were like, oh my God, Michael Myers is back and it's really Corey. That should have been a definite what they talked about in this movie. There should have been some scenes where, like, the news stories, like, oh, Michael Myers must be back, blah, blah. They didn't even have time to do that. Like I said, everything was like boom, 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 like short bursts of like, hey, let's progress the story. That's why a part of me feels like maybe this was like you're reading Laurie's memoirs on film. Again, that's a little bit deep than I think that was really going for, but again, it makes a little bit more sense to me, and maybe it would make more sense for this sloppy movie that we got. Sloppy but fun. I think it was a fun, intriguing movie. There was just some of the scenes and dialogue and pacing were a little bit sloppy for me. But at the same time, like, they want all this Michael Myers action, then why did everybody hate kills? You can't get much more than that. Yeah, I don't know. Rats, I guess. I have no idea. But the other thing that doesn't make sense is, like, yeah, maybe he was down there for 4 years and got really weak. But what about the 40 years of him in prison? Like, why wasn't he as weak then? Or maybe he was, but when he got out, he was doing okay. I don't know. I don't know how did he kill anybody on the bus? Like, what was his first kills in 2018? Was it the reporters in the bathroom? I don't remember. Lunchables. Oh my god. I know. You're right. It was very misleading. For sure. I always say this. I always said it at this point. Just say F it and just have like a multiverse. So it's like, Paul Rudd's Tommy Doyle and Anthony Michael Hall's Tommy Doyle like team up, and they're like fighting Corey and Myers. Just go wild with it at this point. Just have all these weird universes. Scout shows up. Oh my god. You're right. It is. It's hard to. It is very hard. You're right. And that at the same time though, it's the only movie genre community that's like this, which is a good and bad thing because it's really the only movie horror. This horror community is like you don't go. Comic Cons or whatever, but they don't do like comedy cons or drama cons or anything like that, right? It's horror cons because they're the most loyal fans. So I get it, right? You can't. Nobody's ever happy. I mean, again, I don't like a lot of stuff, but it doesn't ruin my day. I say, yeah, it sucks, and then I move on, right? Like, there's a lot of things I don't like that other people like. I thought the new Candyman was bad. It was terrible. I mean, it gets bad when I actually don't even want to buy the physical media copy. Then it's like really bad. Like, I didn't buy Candyman. I didn't buy Firestarter. Like, I'm not going to buy Hellraiser if it comes out. I'm not going to buy Prey if it comes. Like, these are things that it's like other people are going to be like, what? Like, why wouldn't you? I'm never going to watch those again. I'm at a point I can't just buy to buy. But like, so some people might come at me and be like, oh, that movie was good. What is it? But I don't care what people like. I don't, but it's weird to say that I like this. But it's going to be hard to please everybody. But I think people that are getting nasty over it, guys, it's just a movie. Chill. But I think it works from both ends. People are nasty about it, but then I think the people that are trying to defend it can come off nasty or could come off arrogant or whatever. Like their opinion is the only one that matters. I don't get involved in all that shit. Like I said, I'm busy. I want to entertain you guys. I don't have time to fight with people on Twitter. I mean, that was cool. I mean, again, it was like, what could they do? They couldn't cut his head off. They already did that. They would have been like, oh, you copied H2O. So they had to be unique with it. Impaled through the tower would have been pretty cool, though. I says Cody. Yeah, I mean, again, I would love to hear why, right? I would love to hear why. I'm assuming it's because he hadn't killed, but it's like, why didn't he? What was he doing down there for 4 years? He couldn't have got out and just like killed that bomb to get a little power. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, you're right. Like the sheriff guy was useless. You know who else? Lindsay Wallace. Like that sucked. She survived the last movie. I'm like, oh, she's gonna have a huge role in part 3. She was a waste. Now to me, I feel like it's like she didn't even get killed. She just like survived. She was like not even near any of the violence. Like again, I liked it, but I feel like there's so much more to be told. I would have liked this thing to be another freaking half hour long. Got a lot of this stuff, a lot of this filler, like fill some of these gaps. Explain a little bit more. Let's get more people involved. Like I never say that kind of stuff. But this one, I feel like when you're introducing a character like Corey into the last move of a franchise, like you got to spend time. And they did a good job with him, but I think other people got flushed out. I would love to hear if you talk to Lindsay Wallace or Kyle Richards and be like, was there more to your character? I guarantee there was. And that just like, then why did they keep her alive in kills? Like, oh, we're going to keep you alive, but we're not going to do anything with you. Like, it's kind of like the Back to the Future thing where they kept Jennifer, at the end in the car at the end. And then they like realized on part 2 that they should have did that. So they had to kind of wing it and like put her to sleep half the movie because they realized what they did. And I think that's kind of what happened here is like they kept her alive and then maybe had a change of heart of what the heck the third movie was going to be. And then they're like, oh shoot, we have her still too. Like it really is. It really has to be that. Halloween Ends is definitely one of this trilogy that has the most rewatchability. Would I see? Dude, I would too. I know that's not the popular opinion, but that's exactly what I would have wanted. It would have been a little bit fresh. We for a guy who just got put into this franchise, I was invested in him. Thought that would have been cool. You're right. Exactly. I'm hoping we get a 4K with like alternate cuts and stuff. I'll bet that next week's list will have movies that are similar back to back. Yeah, that's what we've been finding on that top 101. Let me see. Oh man, you gotta like. I wanted him to be the new. I mean, I don't want to be the new Myers. I mean, he's gonna be Corey, right? But I don't know if he would use the same mask or change it up. I mean, the thing is, it's like Myers snapped his neck, or else Myers is like a chiropractor and just like gave him a little adjustment and then whispered in his ear, "Just lay here," and then he'll come back. I don't know. Michael's come back a bunch of times. Maybe the evil will help him. I have no idea. What? Oh, I did hear about that in the club scene, huh? Huh. It looks fantastic. I'd have to go back and check it out. I didn't notice it when I watched it, which is odd. But maybe I had the other track on. Yeah, she wasn't she? She wasn't even in the junkyard, was she? So weird, man. Like again, like that almost makes me feel like that junkyard scene and stuff, like all that was reshoots because he was supposed to be impaled. Well, I don't know if they ended up bringing him to the thing. I don't know, but you're right. It doesn't make any sense. What's up, Indie Phantom? Yeah, I don't have time for that. I actually don't even have a letterbox. Like to me, it's not. I think it's cool, but like I just don't need to add something else to my plate. Like, oh, you gotta, make sure to post on social media, make sure to do this. And then I have all my work stuff. It's like, oh, make sure I post on social media for my work and make sure I do this. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I just gotta fill out letterbox. Like, dude, it's honestly hard enough for me to watch movies now that to have to like write on letterbox or whatever. But because I'm doing the rankings, I just actually created a letterbox account today. So if anybody wants to follow me, it's Born2beRad on Letterboxd. I'm not going to really use it that much, but if you want to follow me on there, you can. I'm just using it to build my ranking lists for the Halloween stuff, and maybe I'll like it and do more on there with that. But I'm on there. I actually signed up for it today. Yeah, I would just love to have a conversation or have an interview somewhere with David Gordon Green and be like, was there a plan here or did we just wing it as we went? Because to announce 3 movies and they make it and the last 2 seem like it was just whipped together, kind of bothers me. He was. We had Van Damme in the movie. He was watching Hard Target, yeah. Yeah, I heard that too. It's so crazy to me. Like, how can you do test screenings and then people be not happy with them and then you change everything and make it worse? Like, that's what I don't get. Like, to me, what we got as a finale is probably one of the worst, safest finales we could have did. And maybe that's why they did it. It was safe. They didn't want to leave a cliffhanger because they want you to think it's the end. But man, you can leave a cliffhanger and not have to even go back and do anything with it. It doesn't, like, if they turned around and Corey was gone and then you never made another Halloween movie again. So what? Who cares? Michael Myers is dead. I watched it twice. I watched Kills a few times. I have the novelization on order. Oh, there's a novelization on order for Ends? Let me know because I'm going to order it. There's no way Hatchet's going to be on the list. I will die. He will flip his lid if Hatchet's on the list. Thanks, Ice Ice Cody. Press like and sub, guys and gals. This guy's channel is rad. Hey, I appreciate that. Big time. Big time. Again, it's a hobby of mine. Like, collecting has been a hobby of mine for my whole life. The YouTube thing is a hobby of mine for the last, it actually, this month is a 2-year mark. So I think, yeah, it was like a 2-year mark exactly like a couple days ago. It doesn't feel like 2 years, but it's been cool, man. Like, this is honestly like my getaway from like everything else I do. So thank you guys for that, because if I wasn't doing this, my brain would be just thinking about 1,000 other things that I needed to do and get done and focus on. And it gets wild. I have not a lot of like fun time anymore, except, this really kind of takes me down, keeps my mind focused. So I appreciate it. It helps me in a lot of ways. And definitely let me know, like, if there's anything you want to see on the channel. October's kind of packed. We've got ideas floating around all the time. But if there's anything you want to see, like, I've done one ranking. I've done Friday 13th a couple months ago. I'm going to do Halloween at the end of the month. I don't do a lot of rankings. If you guys like those things, maybe let me know. I'll do more of that kind of stuff. If there's anything that I'm not doing that you want to see, like, just throw it out there. Got a lot of stuff with the Rad Pack. We're always down for like ideas. So that's cool too. Ooh, I just saw somebody. Was Brian Goes Blue in here? I thought I just saw him. Oh, there he is. What up, dude? Yeah, man. I'm gonna go back and. Did you see this? I got to go back now and start watching people's reviews, because check out Brian Goes Blue if you guys haven't. Because again, I stayed away from most reviews because I knew like I had my spoiler free, and then I wanted to do this one last night, and there was so many people live. I just said forget it. So I did it tonight, but now I'm going to go back and watch people's reviews, because I didn't want to, take the ideas out of my head that I already had or anything like that. So I'll check it out. Let me know what you thought of it. You're right, man. Yeah, guys, if you haven't gone back, watch my spoiler-free review, because I was fresh out of the theater and I had a lot to say. You're right. That's what happens in those 4 years is crucial, right? Like, you can't just graze through it. Like, oh yeah, I moved back and nobody can find Michael. Like, what? Like, his house was torn down at the end of Kills. The last thing we saw in Kills, he was standing in his room, wasn't it? Or am I wrong? So what they do? They tear it down and he just ran out the back door. Like, there was a lot of unanswered questions between these two, and I heard that it was supposed to all be like one continuous story, and they switched it. But man, you gotta fill in the gaps a little bit there. All right, cool, man. Thanks. Wow. Okay. That's cool, man. I'm definitely down to check that out. Let me see. Corey should have been in it. No, he should have been in Kills. You're right. For sure. He definitely should have. Something, because to just throw a kid in there, you know what it reminded me of was like Cobra Kai, I think last season, where they threw what's his name there? I mean, he ended up being a good character, but he was just kind of whipped in there. I forget what his name is now. But it kind of reminded me of that. Like, it was just so random. Like, what made him decide, like, all right, we got one more movie. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get this kid and we're gonna throw him in here. Like, that is wild to me. Where did they find this kid? What was their plan here? Like, it just seemed kind of so left field. But I'll tell you right now, this kid goes to a convention, Corey. I'm gonna be all over that damn Scarecrow mask as soon as somebody puts that thing out. And I'm gonna try to get it signed at some point. Check this out. What's up, T. Parker? The original ending had the evil transferred to Lori after Michael gets cremated at a funeral home, but Jamie Lee Curtis mentioned in an interview she had something to do with the ending we got. Because I think she wanted to be like the hero. The powerful survivor. I don't know. It was a safe ending. That's the only thing I can say. Sweet. I'm on it. Because again, that's what makes me like this movie even more. There's so many questions. I don't look at that as a negative all the time. I look at it as like, I wish we got more, of course. But to me, it's like intriguing. Like, do we get another cut of this film? Like, please, like, don't give us just this movie. Like, there's got to be more here. And I would hope that, we get that. Like, imagine a director's cut, another 20 minutes longer, like different ending. Like, that would be so killer. And they don't do enough of that stuff anymore. I'm telling you, it's filmed because this was so choppy. There had to be stuff missing. Okay. I could definitely swing that. It's gonna make me a big mess in here, but maybe I can do it in sections. I got a lot. But that would be fun, actually. I could do that probably on a live stream. But maybe I'll try to do it in sections. Like, maybe I'll do horror and then I'll split them up. Terrifier 2, no, I didn't, but I'm hearing it's good. Okay, yeah, that's what I did originally, and then I'm doing this one, kind of getting more in depth with it. I'm not sure what you guys thought of it, but again, I can see how this is going to split people. Like Halloween fans weren't already damn split as it was. This is only going to make it worse. And again, like I said, I really liked it a lot. It has problems. I liked the story arc with Corey. I was entertained. I was thinking as I was doing it. I'm thinking about it after it's over. When a movie can do that to me, I got to respect it. And to me, I feel like it's got a lot more rewatch value than the other two, as of right now. But yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, you're right. And especially this one, they should have been in it, because this one was like the Halloween 3 of this trilogy, right? Like, it was the weird one. So they should have had something in here with that. It was interesting. Like, it was just so wild to me. And if you guys are still popping in now, like, I talk about that earlier, where I'm thinking like, did we watch Laurie's book on film? And that's why it seemed so all over the map. I like the Corey Cunningham stuff too. Yep, Corey was like Arnie. Oh my God. Wait, was it Arnie Cunningham? It was. Cunningham. Yeah, it was. I didn't even think about that, because I knew there was Christine references and I knew about the evil being passed. I forgot that was his last name. That's so funny. That had to have been on purpose. Hey man, you know what? I like Kills better than 2018. Now, I mean, I liked Kills the whole time. If you go back and look at my review, I praised Kills. I don't know what the problem was. I get it. Like, everything's got problems, but it's so funny. It's like, this one didn't have Michael. It wasn't violent. It wasn't this. It was, what the hell is this? It was lame. And then you watch Kills and it was so violent. It's like, oh, this sucks, because it's like, dude, what, you can't win, really. So we get extended scenes, deleted scenes for home release, but not extended cut. Sucks. I see, like, I don't know what it is for me. Like, I would rather have an extra cut with all those scenes put back in than have it like on a separate scene thing. Like, I would like to have two different movies on my thing, and not, oh, I'm going to watch the deleted scenes. I want them back in where they're supposed to be. I don't know why we never get that kind of stuff. That always bothered me. That's funny, man. Thanks for the info on that. Listen, I'm a big Anthony Michael Hall guy, so I'm not going to say anything about that. I think the evil dies tonight, like chanting and through the hospital with chasing that fake Myers guy, that whole scene sucked to me. But other than that, I thought it was a good movie. All right, so I am caught up pretty much in the chat. I'm sorry if I didn't get to your questions or anything like that. I was trying to skim through quick. But guys, I've been on here about an hour 30. I appreciate you guys coming to hang out with me this late night, little rad up all night. And yeah, that was my thoughts, some spoilers, some thoughts, some theories on Halloween Ends. Like I said, I saw it on Thursday and it's still on my brain. I've seen it twice now, and I'm probably going to watch it a third time to just try to see, is there things I'm missing? But if you check this stream out, go back and let me know in the comments, like, on some of my theories, do you feel that they're legit? Are they off the wall? Or is it not the case? Is it stupid? How about some of the endings I talked about? Like, what did you want to see? Where did you have problems with this? I know a lot of people didn't like it. Let me know your thoughts on it. Maybe give it another rewatch. I found it to be very enjoyable. It didn't feel like your average Halloween movie, which I was fine with because I'm into more original style horror movies at this point than just straight up copycat stuff we get all the time. There's a lot of good stuff coming out. Like I said, they showed some trailers on some new movies coming out. I'm like, man, horror is killing it right now in 2022. I have a big week tomorrow. Catch me on KB Loves Movies at noontime. We'll be doing an interview, so head over to his channel. I will post that video in my community tab and on my Instagram stories. Then on Tuesday, you can find me hanging out in the chat over on Mid-Level Media's channel, because 1/3 of the Rad Pack, Justin, is going to be the guest on World's Greatest Collectors. And then on Wednesday, you can catch me right here at 10 p.m. with Uncle Bill from Dead Pit talking 101 Scariest Movie Moments countdown. And then on Saturday, we got the big Rad Pack episode with me, Mel, and Justin talking about our favorite spooky movies growing up. So definitely check all that out. And guys, throw this thing a like for me. If you are not subscribed, please sub. My goal is 2K by the end of the year. I know we can do it, so pass my stuff around. Let people know that I'm here. And next time I'm live, come back in and chat it up with me. Guys, thank you again so much. I appreciate all your support. This is Garrett at Born2beRad, and like always, stay